Just waiting for the live stream to start. Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. Namaste, Hari Om, and welcome to the fifth week of this year's online Gita Parayan and Satsang. We have had 4 wonderful weeks, and about 2 weeks back, we celebrated the Gita Havan in great grandeur at the PGP Hall. I think a lot of you might have attended. Thank you for attending. And we just want to remind you that the series of Gita Jayanti programs continue. The next program is on the 12th of September, just after Krishna Jayanti. We are going to have a beautiful celebration of the Gita through performing and visual arts. It is called Krishna Manjari. It is open to everyone. Our only request is that everyone register so that we can easily handle the logistics. So all are welcome. So please do invite your friends and family to join us for Krishna Manjari on the 12th of September at 6 p.m. at PGP Hall. So let us begin today's online Gita Parayan and Satsang. As usual, we will begin with invocation prayers, followed by welcome address, followed by the chanting of Gita Dhyanam, the Parayan of chapter 5, which is the chapter for this week, and then the chanting of Gita Mahatmyam. Following that, we will have a session with our speaker, Sri R.S. Ravi, who will take us through the meaning and the underlying importance of chapter 5 of the Gita. Then we will have question and answer. Then we will do our closing prayers and conclude today's Gita Parayan and Satsang. Let us begin with invocation prayers. Gopi ji is here. May I please invite Gopi ji to please chant the invocation prayers, please.
Thank you, Anand. Om Sahana Bhavato Sahano Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavabahay Tejasvina Badhitamastu Ma Vidvishabhay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantaye. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhit Bhavatu Me Sada. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Thank you, Gopi ji.
Yeah.
We will now proceed to the welcome address. So joining us today is Ms. Vanita Pal. She is the president of Krishna Our Guide. And what is beautiful is that they have been a part of the Gita. They've been enjoying Gita for 3 generations, and probably the 4th generation also. I believe you have been living and propagating the message of the Gita to everyone in Singapore. Welcome, Vanita ji. Over to you, please.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this wonderful meeting. எல்லோருக்கும் என் முதற்கண் வணக்கத்தை தெரிவிக்கிறேன். எல்லோரும் நன்றாக இருங்கள். Let me begin by just saying what my goal is and what Krishna Our Guide is all about. Well, Krishna Our Guide, you can hear me, right? Krishna Our Guide is also called Kannan Namadhu Varikatti. So from a very tender age of 6, I was introduced to Krishna Paramatma by my grandfather. But I believe that all religions and all beliefs are beautiful, especially since we live here in Singapore, which is cosmopolitan, right? So understanding each other, accepting, tolerating is so important. And one of the verses from the Bhagavad Gita clearly explains this. Ye yadamam pradatyante twam stateva bhajamyaham Mama Vatmanu Vatandi Manushya Partha Sarvasaha, which is chapter 4, verse 2. And in English, it means, in any way that men love me, in that same way they find my love. For many are the paths of men, but they all in the end come to me. So this is what the Paramatma said more than 4,000 years ago, and it's applicable to us now more than ever here. I'm trying to reach out to the Gen Zs and the Alpha generation because they're suffering so much from all the challenges that they're facing, especially with the relationships for the Gen Zs. And for the Alpha generation, they are so angsty. So, how do I deal with them? So, I've started meditation classes with painting watercolors and music, Carnatic music with meditation, and they take to it like a fish takes to water. So let me appeal to you. Let us network together and reach out to these people and find a way to breach the gap so that they will benefit from the wonderful words of the Gita, because I believe it will create a space between thought and action and stabilize them. So Gita is very much alive. Gita is here. Gita is now. Now let us go forward with your help. Thank you so much. Om Namo Narayanaya.
Thank you, Vanita ji. It's a tremendous service that you're doing. As you said, the Gita is applicable for every generation, and I think more so, considering all of the changes which are going on and the rapid pace of change, more so for Gen Z and Gen Alpha. And thank you for the tremendous service that you're doing. And definitely, I think we all need to come together to make sure that our future generations get the benefit of this wonderful message which Krishna Paramatma has given us.
Thank you.
Let us now continue our Parayan activities for the day. Let me just go ahead and share my screen again. We will now begin with Gita Dhyanam, followed by the chanting of chapter 5 of the Gita, followed by the chanting of Srimad Bhagavad Gita Mahatmyam. May I request Gopi ji to get us started with Gita Dhyanam, and I'll request all our viewers to follow together as the verses are displayed on the screen for your benefit.
Thank you, Anna. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitham Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Vashinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaധ്യായിനീം Ambatvamanusandadhami Bhagavat Ite Bhavatveshiniim Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullarabindayata Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Mritaduhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dugdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsas Sudhit Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadguram Bhishma Dronatata Jayatrata Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashvathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Khalu Pandavai Rananadi Kaivartaka Keshavaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Paramananda Madhavam Parasharya Vachas Saroja Mamalam Gitartha Gandhotkatam Jnanakshyanaka Kesaram Harikatha सम्बोधना बोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारत पङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिन श्रेयसे यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदः क्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यां न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः ॐ अथ पञ्चमोऽध्यायः कर्मयोगः श्री अर्जुन उवाच सन्न्यासं कर्मणां कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च शंससि यच्छ्रेय एतयोरेकं तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम् श्रीभगवानुवाच सन्न्यासः कर्मयोगश्च निःश्रेयसकरावुभौ तयोस्तु कर्मसन्न्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते ज्ञेयः स नित्यसन्न्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न काङ्क्षति निर्द्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते साङ्ख्ययोगौ पृथक् बालाः प्रवदन्ति न पण्डिताः एकमप्यास्थितः सम्यक् उभयोर्विन्दते फलं यत्साङ्ख्यैः प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति सन्न्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखमाप्तुम् अयोगतः योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्म न चिरेणाधिगच्छति योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन् ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भसा कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति सङ्गं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम् अयुक्तः कामकारेण फले सक्तो निबध्यते सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन् न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभुः अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञानं येषां नाशितमात्मनः तेषामादित्यवज्ञानं प्रकाशयति तत्परं तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानः तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः गच्छन्त्य पुनरावृत्तिं ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः विद्याविनयसम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनि शुनि चैव स्वपाके च पण्डिताः समदर्शिनः इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गः येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य चाप्रियं स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः बाह्यस्पर्शेष्व्यसक्तात्मा विन्दत्यात्मनि यत्सुखं स ब्रह्मयोगयुक्तात्मा सुखम् अक्षयमश्नुते ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगाः दुःखयो न य एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुं प्राक् शरीरविमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं स युक्तः स सुखी नरः योऽन्तः सुखोऽन्तरारामः तथान्तर्ज्योतिरेव यः स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ऋषयः क्षीणकल्मषाः छिन्नद्वैधायतात्मानः सर्वभूतहिते रताः कामक्रोधविमुक्तानां यतीनां यतचेतसाम् अभितो ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं वर्तते विदितात्मनाम् स्पर्शान् कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्यान् चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवोः प्राणापानौ समौ कृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणौ यतेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिः मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणः विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधः यः सदा मुक्त एव सः भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति इति श्री अत श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे संन्यासयोगो नाम पञ्चमोऽध्यायः। ॐ तत्सत्।
Let us now do the Gita Mahatmyam. Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yah Pathet Prayatah Puman Vishnoh Padamavapnoti Bhayashokadi Varjitah Gita Dhyena Shilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Naiva Santihi Papani Purvajanma Kritani Cha Mala Nirmochanam Pumsam Jalasnanam Dine Dine Sakrat Geetam Bhasisnanam Samsara Malanashanam Gita Sugita Kartavya Himandyai Shastra Vistaraihi Yaswayam Padmanabhasya Mukhapadmad Vinisrita Bharata Sarvaswam Vishnor Vinisritam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Amritam Mahate Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Yeva Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. Thank you, Gopiji, for
Thank you,
chanting
Anandji.
of Gita Dhyanam and chapter 5 of the Gita. Let us now move to the let's now move to the lecture for the day. We have the pleasure of having Sri R.S. Raviji here. So a little bit quick introduction to Raviji. Raviji is professionally an industrial safety expert. So he is protecting, the plants and humans from accidents, but he is doing another kind of protection also, not just the physical protection. He does spiritual protection also for a lot of us. So how does he do that? Since 2002, Raviji's spiritual journey has got revived after coming to Singapore. As a student of Swami Paramarthananda and Swami Omkarananda, under whom Raviji has learned Vedanta, he has been conducting classes and study groups for a lot of us in Singapore. And incidentally, his journey with Gita also began because he participated as one of the chanters in the Gita chanting competitions which Gita Jayanti holds in the senior section of the Gita chanting competition. So it is a pleasure to have Raviji here. Raviji, Hari Om, welcome, and over to you.
Namaskaram. Thank you very much. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Ravi.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Pranams to the lotus feet of the Lord, pranams to all the Mahatmas and Gurujis, and pranams to all of you. Let me sincerely thank the Gita Forum, which is one of the triggers. As Anand Chandrasekharji told, I was nudging him to open the competition for all the age groups, and he was kind enough to do it for the 2011 January session. And that motivated me to join. And of course, you have to memorize it, obviously. And my journey started with this chapter 5, if I remember right. So, where in the December 2024, my family went for vacation, I started studying. And you cannot study or memorize like a child unless you know the meaning at this age. So fortunately, this platform gave me the opportunity to memorize the chapter, and that made me to understand lot more better than what I had understanding of the Gita. And one good thing happened was I did not stop with the chapter 5. I continued to memorize the rest of the chapters for the next 4.5 years. And of course, try to participate in every year competition as well. So this is the platform which has really, really helped me. I am deeply indebted to the entire organization which is conducting this forum for the last 25, 30 years. And I can never be forgetting this experience. Now, coming to this opportunity for the chapter 5 summary, I am sure people have already gone through the Gita once, then only the chapter summary can be understood. So I am going to talk to the audience as a refresher, the two refresher for myself, and of course, incidentally for yourself also, of refreshing what chapter 5 says. And as you all know, Bhagavad Gita is fairly a structured text, but not fully structured. It is because it is an extempore dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, a question answer session. So obviously, it is all the spot questions and then spot answers from Krishna. Based on Arjuna's face, he has brought so many things, even within Arjuna asking question also. Like this, it is going on. About 16 questions are asked in the whole 700 shlokas. So we must be able to decipher and take things from wherever it is and put it in the relevant buckets. Bhagavad Gita primarily talks about 5 subjects. The first one is Karma Yoga. Second one is Upasana Yoga. Third one is Jnana Yoga. Fourth one is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti. And then the fifth one is Sadgunas, otherwise Daivi Sampat. These are all the 5 topics covered in Bhagavad Gita. Bhakti Yoga is encompassing Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Together is Bhakti Yoga, as given in chapter number 12. Now we should be able to put the various shlokas or various topics, sections into one of these buckets and then study the Gita properly. Then it will be very useful. So a quick summary of the first 4 chapters. First, chapter 1 up to shloka number 10 of this chapter 2, Arjuna's problem and Arjuna's surrender. Arjuna's problem is Raga, Shoka, and Moha. He had absolute clarity before coming to the war. And even when he's sitting in the chariot, he had a clarity. When he asked Krishna to put the chariot in front of the other camp, he put it vantageously between Bhishma and Drona. He started having a mental breakdown. So that's what happened. And luckily for us and for Arjuna also, he said what he is doing is incorrect. He said asking for the Shreyas, ultimate good, what can you do for him? He asked for the Shreyas, Shreyasya Nishchitam Bruhitan me. Then Bhagavan started the teaching from the 11th shloka of the second chapter, where he gave the entire summary of the essence of Veda in the second chapter itself, which is essentially the Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga is a subset, and Jnana Yoga, and a Jnani, how he look like. So the comprehensive teaching was given. And Arjuna asked a question again in the beginning of the third chapter, it's a Karma Yoga, where he described detailedly the Karma Yoga chapters, Karma Yoga. Then in the fourth chapter beginning, which is called Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, then where Krishna himself voluntarily said, no, this is something which is from the Veda, which is given, and it's a Rahasyam, and I am giving it to you again because you are my good friend. He talks about the Avataram, and he talked about the Jnana Yoga portion, primarily in the fourth chapter, from shloka number 18 to 24, and then concluded chapter with other things also. And that's where he concluded. In the conclusion, what Krishna did was, he said, Arjuna, be a Karma Yogi. So now, Krishna talked about the knowledge and renunciation. He referred to the wise man, who is a Sthita Prajna in chapter number 2, and whose karmas are burnt by the fire of knowledge. As he said in the fourth chapter, 19th shloka, he glorified the wise man as one who is free from possessions, whose only activity is maintenance of the body, which is at 21st shloka of the chapter 4, and who is happy with anything that comes to him. Yadurcha labha santushtaha. 22nd shloka. Evidently, these are all the signs of a monk. At the same time, Krishna concludes the chapter by advising Arjuna to take action, which is the last shloka of the chapter number 442. So naturally, Arjuna is not able to reconcile Krishna's various statements. In fact, secluded life and active life are the two lifestyles, as given in the chapter 3. Lokesmin dvida nishta pura prokta maya naga. So the first one is called Ashrama Sannyasa, and the later one is called Karma Yoga. Yoga, that means what? It's a life of a householder. In both the lifestyles, one is identified with the equipments. He is a karta and hence a samsari. So this shows that lifestyle itself cannot give liberation. When self-knowledge is gained, one discovers that he is akarta, abhokta, and hence asamsari. This akarta, abhokta concept is the one which Krishna emphasizes throughout Gita. What he gave in second chapter, he elaborated in fourth chapter, again emphasized in fifth chapter, again in the 18th chapter, he emphasizes the akarta, abhokta, because Arjuna should not feel guilty of fighting and killing Bhishma Drona. So that is the concept which is emphasized. So this lifestyle alone, whichever lifestyle, it cannot give liberation. When self-knowledge is gained, one discovers that the person is akarta, abhokta, and hence asamsari. Thus, the renunciation of the body identification is true sannyasa. It's a true sannyasa which is called jnana karma sannyasa. This sannyasa can coexist with active life because it is mental renunciation. Very, very important point to be noted down. But ashrama sannyasa cannot coexist with active life because it is physical renunciation. So Krishna is advising Arjuna to remain in the society and attain the goal of jnana karma sannyasa. But Arjuna mistakes that sannyasa as ashrama sannyasa and sees contradiction in Krishna's teaching. So the chapter begins with Arjuna's doubt as to how a person can remain in duty and be free from action at the same time. This is the question. So the chapter starts with Arjuna's question. And here the very important point to be noted down, which often many commentators make a mistake, is that in the first shloka is Arjuna's question in the 5th chapter. And the next 5 shlokas is Krishna's answer to that. And one should read it as an ashrama, One is the sannyasa ashrama lifestyle. Another one is the householder lifestyle, which is used at karma yoga and sankhya yoga. So one should be able to know or clearly decipher or decode the meaning as ashrama, not the yoga itself. Many people interpret it as a yoga and then misinterpret and saying karma yoga also can give liberation, jnana yoga also can give liberation. So it is not one path, it is multiple paths. That's what people conclude by wrongly interpreting this particular section. So how it has to be interpreted? It has to be interpreted as two lifestyles. But lifestyles does not matter. It is the mental makeup which matters a lot, which is what is called sannyasa mindset. That is what is mattered. Now let me try to give the chapter various sections, what all the topics being discussed in this chapter, and then I'll move on to one by one section. So the first part, which is up to shloka number 6, is called Nishtadvayam, two lifestyles. The next topic which we find is the Sadhana Dvayam, that is two types of spiritual disciplines which every seeker has to necessarily go through. The third topic is the two sadhanas and sadhanas phalam, what all the phalam benefits of the two sadhanas. The fourth and final topic is the introduction to meditation as a preparation or a foundation for the next chapter. So these are the four main topics of the fifth chapter. Now we will briefly go through one by one. So in the first 6 shlokas, starting with Arjuna's question, Nishtadvayam, two types of lifestyles. One is the Grihastha Ashrama, otherwise called life of a householder. Second one is Sannyasa Ashrama, life of a sannyasi, a renunciate, a monk. And in one ashrama, a person possesses everything and is part of the society. In the other one, namely the sannyasa ashrama, the person does not possess anything and the person is not part of the society. So Grihastha ashrama is called Pravritti Marga, Sannyasa ashrama is called Nivritti Marga. One involves an active lifestyle, other involves a withdrawn, secluded lifestyle. And Krishna is emphasizing only these two ashramas because other two ashramas are only preparation for these two ashramas. Which are the other two ashramas? Namely Brahmacharyam and Vanaprastha. Brahmacharya ashrama is a preparation for the Grihastha ashrama. Vanaprastha ashrama is a preparation for Sannyasa ashrama. So normally we do not deal much with these two ashramas because they are preparatory ones, and we mainly focus on the Grihastha and Sannyasa ashramas. And these two alone, ashramas alone, Krishna calls as two types of Nishtha. Nishtha means lifestyles. So Krishna had talked about this in the 3rd chapter also. Lokesmin dvida Nishtha pura prokta mayana. Jnana yogena sankyanam karma yogena yoginam. 3:3. And these two forms of lifestyle are given out in the Vedas themselves. And in this, Arjuna is confused regarding sannyasa ashrama. And Arjuna's main confusion is whether sannyasa ashrama is compulsory for liberation. Whether sannyasa ashrama is compulsory for liberation, and therefore Arjuna raises a question in the beginning of the chapter, and Krishna clarifies Arjuna's confusion. What is Krishna's answer? Krishna says sannyasa ashrama is not compulsory for liberation at all. As far as ashrama is concerned, as far as lifestyle is concerned, a person can choose any one of these two. In fact, he has mentioned it in the 3rd chapter itself. Karmanaivagi samsiddhim astita janakadeha. He has already mentioned it. And so here he says, Sankhya yogo pratak balaha pravadantina panditaha ekamapya sthita samyag ubhayor vindate phalam. So 4th shloka. A person can take to any one of the ashramas and attain liberation. And therefore, there is a choice with regard to ashramas. Therefore, after Brahmacharya ashrama, after lifestyle of study, a person has a choice to decide whether I want to become a monk or whether I want to get married and then live a spiritual life. So as far as advantages and disadvantages are concerned, both ashramas have got advantages and disadvantages. In Grihastha ashrama, the advantages, there is money, there is people, there is a seeming security. So which you get a coffee in the morning, very good, everything is available. So and you got a you are outgoing, you can attend various parties and functions, all those things are there. And you have got some possessions, some people, everything is there. So which security a sannyasi does not have, because he cannot have a possession. He cannot have a relationship also. Sura mandiratar moola nivasah shayya bhutalam ajinam vasah sarva parigraha bhogatyah kasya sukam na karoti viragah. Bhajagovindam says. So he is very happy to himself without possessing anything. So two different lifestyles. So that's what it is. So in the Grihastha Ashrama, there is a seeming security. In Sannyasa Ashrama, there is no security. So the disadvantage of Grihastha Ashrama is what? There is a lot of possessions and relationships. There is a responsibility also. There's a big burden. And people are there. You have to do, your children are there. Children are yet to get married. Or if they are married, you have to do various visits. You have to take care of, entertain various people. So all those things are the problems. So the responsibility is the minus point of Grihastha Ashrama. So which responsibility the sannyasi does not have it at all. So therefore in one ashrama, security is the plus point, responsibility is the minus point. Where? In the Grihastha Ashrama. In the sannyasa ashrama, lack of security is the minus point, but absence of responsibility is the plus point. Now you tell me which ashrama is better. Always grass is green on the other side. That's what it is. A grihastha feels sannyasi is better off. Often sannyasis feel grihasthas are better off. Therefore, both the ashramas have got plus and minus points. Therefore, there is a choice. And once we have to choose, there is always a conflict. Wherever choice is involved, conflict comes. Generally, we do not want to choose, because choosing is again taking responsibility. Including dress, what do you want to, whether you want to wear this dress or that dress, whether my son has to do national service in Singapore or go away, surrendering it. Many parents conveniently say, I left it to him to have the responsibility. What a child can do at the age of 16 to decide? Impossible. And they make a wrong choice of running away. After some time, they say, hey, I should not have done it. And they start fighting with the parents. You did not advise me. This is a common complaints we hear when you talk to the parents and children who have relinquished their national service and gone abroad. So whenever there is a choices are there and conflict comes. Okay, so that's what happens. So for Arjuna wonders which ashrama is better for him. Therefore, Krishna gives an advice to Arjuna, and Arjuna types of people and what is advice. It depends on the type of people, and for Arjuna and majority of the world, Grihastha Ashrama is better. So that is very important. See here, who is the student? Arjuna. What is Arjuna? Highly materialistically successful, but spiritually, mentally bankrupt, emotionally bankrupt. That's Arjuna. And 99% of the world population is in this category. So here, based on the majority of the audience, Krishna says, you stay in the Grihastha Ashrama, but at the same time, he says very clearly, you must have mental sannyasa. That too, the third shloka is extremely important. Nyayasya nitya sannyasi yona dveshti na kankshati nirvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. And then he says, sannyasastu mahabaho dukkham aptumayogatah. So he clearly says, it depends on the audience in front of you. If you do a little bit of contrast with Uddhava Gita, where to Uddhava? Uddhava is again a Krishna student. For Uddhava, he advises differently. I am not asking you to study Uddhava Gita before studying Bhagavad Gita thoroughly. Please note down. But for Uddhava, he says you go to Badrikashrama and stay put. You can't come with me to Vaikunta. You better be here and meditate. For Uddhava, the advice is clear, very different. For Arjuna, his advice is what? Stay put in the Grihastha Ashrama. Start practicing Karma Yoga first and develop the mental sannyasa first. So very clearly he has articulated. That's a very important thing. So both the ashramas are okay, but for majority, Grihastha Ashrama is better. So this is the Nishtadvayam, very, very important topic. Often people are confused, or some people without studying Gita properly, they say, if you come to study Gita, you will become a sannyasi, you will not have a family problem, you will have a divorce problem. So don't ever study Gita. That is the ignorant people who are advising. That is absolutely incorrect. In fact, we always say, in addition to Janaka Maharaja, we say Ashwapati, Yagyavalkya. You go to any of the Upanishads, you will see all the teachers are all the father, and then he is teaching the son. So you can see all of them are Maha Rishis. So you need not be a Grihastha, including Vyasacharya, who was not a sannyasi. So it is very important point which we have to understand. Now let us go to the topic number 2, sadhana dvayam. Two types of spiritual disciplines. What are the two types of disciplines? Karma yoga sadhana and jnana yoga sadhana. When I say two types of disciplines, in the karma yoga, upasana yoga is a subset of karma yoga, which you should understand here in this context. Because again, when you study Gita properly, or any text for that matter, you can present it in multiple ways. Here in Gita, he presents it as two sadhanas, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And same Gita, in the 7th shloka itself, in the 5th chapter, he talks about the Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Okay, Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma, Vijitatma, Jitendriya. Sarva Bhutatma, Bhutatma, Kurvannapi na lipyate. So Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma refers to the Karma Yoga. Vijitatma, Jitendriya refers to Upasana Yoga. Sarva Bhutatma, Bhutatma refers to the Jnana Yoga. So you should be able to understand depending on the context. So that's what you have to be very, very clear about it. So normally in the Gita, they say Karma Yoga and the Jnana Yoga are the two sadhanas emphasized. And there is no choice at all. This is a very, very important point to remember. Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are not given as an optional means of liberation. There's a very big misconception prevalent all over. They say several paths are there to liberation. No. Karma Yoga, a person can take independently. Jnana Yoga, a person can take independently. Then they introduce Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Kundalini Yoga. So many people interpret there are multiple paths to liberation, which is absolutely incorrect. There are multiple paths for preparation, gaining the sadhana chatushtayam, namely Vivekam, Vairagyam, Mumukshutvam, Samadhi, Shatka Sampattihi. So preparation can be many, as we have seen in the 4th chapter. But what happened? Sarvam karma akilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Swami Omkarananda says like this. Jnane, he will extend it like this. So there is no choice with respect to both the sadhanas. Then we will have the question whether it has to be sequential or parallel. So what Shastra recommends is it has to be a sequential step. So what is a sequential step? Gradual. What is the thing is? Krama Samuchaya. Krama Samuchaya means what? One after the other, chronologically. That means first one has to go through Karma Yoga, including Upasana Yoga, Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrita, Chitta Naischalyam. So you have got a Mala Nivrittihi, Vikshepa Nivrittihi, all those things. Otherwise called Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna. A reasonable amount of fourfold qualification, one should get it. That means what? Should I not study Jnana Yoga at all during the Karma Yoga period? No. So predominantly you follow the Karma Upasana Yoga lifestyle, otherwise called Karma Yoga lifestyle. And then you start studying scriptures regularly. That means what? Weekly, at least 1 hour class you attend. That's what it is. Initially, it is Karma Yoga Pradhana life, Jnana Yoga being a subservient. But as you go along, where one has graduated out of Karma Yoga, and then one can go and spend more time on Jnana Yoga. How will I know I have graduated out of Karma Yoga? Your mind will tell you. You yourself will do the self-assessment. And Krishna gives you the self-assessment tools in the later part of the chapter, especially 17th and 18th chapter, which I don't want to go into the details now. But one of the simple technique which our Swami Paramarthananda often quotes is the FIR, frequency of agitation, intensity of agitation, and the time period to recover. Your FIR improves significantly as you go through the various challenges in life. Your mind becomes calmer and calmer. You are able to concentrate better and better. So you should be able to graduate, and Jnana Yoga becomes more and more appealing also. Initially, Jnana Yoga 1 hour class. In fact, I still remember when I started seriously studying, I was asked to take a class for 20 minutes. And that too, chapter 2. Nasato vidyate bhavaha, nabhavo vidyate sataha. Ubhayorapi drishtavantah, tuniyo tattvadarshibhi. I did not understand a single word of it. Somehow I parroted taking the transcript from Paramatma and then read it. And then class, everybody said, you did a very good job and clapped it also. I did not understand even a single word of it. But over a period, when you study more and more, repeated study of Gita itself, you will be able to get a clarity. So what we should do, initially focus on Karma Yoga and then have Jnana Yoga aberrations, or once in a week coming to a class, study the class, Bhagavad Gita first time, second time, Bhajagovindam, and takes a couple of Upanishads, couple of Prakarana Kandas, or like Tattva Bodha, then Viveka Chudamani. So do all those things. Initially, the understanding may be weak. As your repeated study comes and your mind improves, you will be able to understand better and better. So the shift has to be a gradual shift from Karma Yoga Pradhana lifestyle to Jnana Yoga Pradhana lifestyle. And you have to understand Karma Yoga cannot directly give liberation at all. Liberation is called moksha. Liberation, Karma Yoga can prepare the mind for Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is the only means for moksha. Nanyah panta ayanaya vidyate. Nanyah panta vidyate ayanaya. Purusha Suktam says twice to emphasize the point. So one has to do a Karma Yoga, predominantly get the preparation, and then come to Jnana Yoga, where we have to follow Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. That is very, very important. So that's what is being explained here. So what he is doing it, he is emphasizing the Karma Yoga portion. So let us look at where is the Karma Yoga portion. As I told you, Gita has to be studied. You have to put it in one of the 5 buckets. So for the 7th shloka is the one which is talking about the Karma, Upasana, Jnana Yoga, which I already told you. And if you have gone through it, again, shloka number 8 and 9 talk about the Jnani, a sannyasi. A Jnani, a sannyasi. So, Naivakichit karomiti yukto manyeva tattvavit, Pashyan Shinvan, etc., etc. So that means I am not doing anything. So the Akarta Abhokta concept, which was explained earlier in the 4th chapter, here it is again brought back. So Naivakichit karomiti, I am not doing anything. What is it doing it? The 9th shloka, second line you have to study. Now, Indriyani, Indriya Arteshu Vartanta iti Dharayan. The sense objects are being dealt with by the sense organs. We have got 5 karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas, and the whole world is made up of all the sensory objects. So they are interacting with each other. I, as Atma, I am not doing anything. Very important Jnana Yoga portion, often quoted. That's what it is. Then again switch over to Karma Yoga. That's where shloka number 10, 11, 12 talks about the Karma Yoga. Very, very important. Shankaracharya comments about it a lot. Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti lipyate nasapapena padmapatram ivambasa kayena manasa buddhya kevalai rindriyerepi yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye yukta karma palam tyaktva shanti mapoti naitigim ayukta kamakarena pale shakto nibadhyate. Here, very important point to be noted down is Shangam Tyaktva Atma Shuddhaye. In the 3rd chapter, Bhagavan presented Karma Yoga in 4 angles. Ajna, Yajna, Samskaraha, Dharmaha. Samskaraha means Chitta Shuddhi. And a Vedantic student, a spiritual student in doing Karma Yoga with the purpose of Chitta Shuddhi, with moksha in mind, and he knows I am a Karma Yogi now, because after this step, I have to go to Jnana Yoga and I have to do Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. So he knows Chitta Shuddhi is my primary focus. And that was not mentioned in the 3rd chapter. He gave all the 4 menus and he left it there with Mai Sarvani Karmani. But here he clearly says that Karma Yoga for Atma Shuddhi. Here Atma refers to mind, not the Sachidananda Atma. Because in Gita, Atma is presented in some places as the body, some places as the mind, some places as the Sachidananda Atma. You have to take it according to the context. And then he says, no, when you have when you are a Karma Yogi, Shanti Mapnoti Naishtikim. Another very, very important point. Then you may wonder, already Karma Yoga itself is giving me Shanti. Why should I go to Jnana Yoga? Obvious question. Because we are all working for what? Peace, security, happiness. And here Krishna says, you be a karma yogi, you get shanti. Then you don't get the shanti afterwards, or you get it or not? Why do you want to do jnana yoga? So here the answer is karma yoga will give you the relative shanti, not absolute shanti. That means what? Karma yoga itself, I hope you won't ask what is karma yoga. Ishwararpanam, prasada buddhi, panchamaha yajna. Karma yoga itself will give you relative shanti, and just to put a mathematical empirical number, maybe 70-80% your mind is more secure. Because whenever problem comes, Ishwara Arpanam, Ishwara Prasada, Sarvam. Now everything is Bhagavan gives me. Now Yadyat Karma Bhavati Yadyat Bhavyam Bhavati Karman Purva Karmanurupam. We say Bukutamala Kulashekara Advar says Yadyat Bhavyam Bhavati Bhagavan Purva Karmanurupam. So I will be able to transfer everything to Bhagavan, put it on his shoulders and not taking on ourselves. And then Bhagavan is giving experiences. Good means very good. I'm thankful to Lord. Bad experiences, okay, he's testing me. So you will get a relative shanti as a karma yogi. If you are not a karma yogi, you are really a selfish person, karmi, then what is happening is ayukta kamakarena phale shakto nibadyate. Always expecting anxiety, everything is there. That's why Bhagavan said, Yoha karmasu kaushalam. The ability of a person is to convert the karma into a karma yoga. That is a skill in action, which we saw in the second chapter also. And we saw samatvam yoga uchyate, mayi sarvani karmani, etc. So that's what we need to understand very clearly. So with this, Krishna has talked about the sadhana dvayam very clearly. That is what it is. So what is the thing is? So very important. And here what we saying is predominantly when you say our karma should be predominantly a sattvic karma. Whereas karma has got three types: sattvic karma, rajasic karma, tamasic karma, which is explained in the 18th chapter. Later it will come and Bhagavan will describe what it is. Tamasic karma is prohibited actions to be stopped immediately. Rajasic karmas are selfish actions to be reduced gradually. Sattvic karmas are contributing karmas, which is beneficiary is more, that we have to give it. So that's what it is. So one has to have the sattvika, rajasa, tamasa karma phalam is there, and we have to accept the prasada of the Lord. So initially we have to avoid the tamasic karmani and gradually reduce sattvika karmani. It may never become zero, especially as a grihastha, and predominantly become the sattvic karmani. In India, very peculiarly, even a person who is doing a tamasic actions, they will also do a puja. The other day, I saw one WhatsApp video clip. One person is opening a big brandy shop, a liquor shop in Hyderabad, and having a puja, where a pujari comes and he does a opening puja and then he does it. And even a thief who does all the thieving, and then Kolagara, what he will do? He will go and deposit some portion to the Tirupati Venkadajalapati also. So this is a very peculiar thing. So if somebody is doing tamasic actions, then what you do? You take it as a Ishvara Prasada and Arpana, but ultimately we have to eliminate it. So that's what it is. And what is our attitude? Padma Patra Iva Ambasa attitude. Everything is what? Ishwararpanam Prasada Buddhi. Tamara ilayil tannir ottiyadu pola. Padma Patram. So we should be mentally detached. Neyasa Nitya Sannyasi. You have to understand this. So what will happen to a karma yogi? The mind becomes slowly spiritually oriented. Materialistic tendencies will weaken. Spiritual tendencies will become strengthened. Interest in Gita will increase. Interest in Shastra will increase. So that's what will happen. So as I said in the 7th shloka, Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriya Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma Kurvannavina Lipyate. That's gradual progress will happen. So very, very important concept. Again, Krishna emphasized here. That is, first one is Nishtadvayam, second one is Sadhanadvayam. Then third topic is what? Now, having talked about Karma Yoga Sadhana, Krishna talked about the Jnana Yoga Sadhana. That is being talked about in the shloka number 13 to 21. He talked about the features of a Jnani in the shloka 8 and 9, which is actually the phalam of the Jnani. which is the Akarta Abhokta. But he is talking about the sadhana later. This is why Gita will, even within the chapter itself, it will be crisscross here and there. You should be able to sequence it. Okay, if I were to be asked to do the sequencing, first is 6 shloka, 7th shloka, then I'll put 10, 11, 12, then I'll go to 13 to 21, then go to 8 and 9, and then come back, then go to the 23rd onwards. Like this, I'll conclude it. But you have to be able to put it in that bucket accordingly. So in the 13 to 21, which talks about the Jnana Yoga, which is compulsory for all. No way you can skip the Jnana Yoga. As I told you, there is not multiple paths for moksha. Moksha is what? Liberation. What is liberation? Jivan muktihi, videha muktihi. Jivan muktihi means what? Being freed here itself. And this is the Advaita Siddhanta. In all other systems, Dvaita, Visishta, Dvaita, moksha is posthumous, which cannot be verified at all. Whereas in Gita, in our Advaita Siddhanta, it can be, you can have it here itself. So in fact, Bhagavan uses a beautiful word, Ihaiva Tairjida Sargaha, in the 19th shloka. So it is the Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga is encompassing all the three yogas. Karma, Upasana, Jnana Yoga together is Bhakti Yoga. There is nothing called Bhakti Yoga separately. Bhakti is important in all the three, but Bhakti Yoga is encompassing everything. The next question is, what is Jnana Yoga? Jnana Yoga is Vedanta Vicharaha, Vedanta Shravana Marana Nididhyasanam. In English, the definition is what? Our Swamiji's famous definition, we would have spelled about 10,000 times in his lectures. Consistent and systematic study of Gita and other Vedantic scriptures under the guidance of a live competent Acharya for a lengthy period of time. And Swamiji used to say every word is important. And many people don't understand this. Consistency is important. Systematic study is important. That too under the live Acharya is important. And what does it mean? That means you have to choose one Guru. Bhagavan himself will automatically give you, because you don't have a choice to choose a Guru, because we don't know who is a good Guru. If I am having Advaita Vasana, you will get a Advaita Guru. If you have got a Visishta Advaita Vasana, you will get a Visishta Advaita Guru. And we don't condemn the other philosophies. Dvaita is the first step. Visishta Advaitam is the second step. And Advaitam is the last step. So they are all preparatory steps, and Advaitam is the ultimate. And that's what we have to be very clear about it. So we don't look upon about the other philosophy, that's all, which is called darshanams. So we should be very clearly. And also a systematic study. No, I studied one chapter about 1 month ago or 6 months ago, another chapter next time, and somebody came and did a public lecture. I went and attended. You should not do that. You should be very systematic. That too, our Swamiji recommends, and I also strongly endorse his recommendation. Study the entire Gita under one Guru for the first time. Don't go to any internet. Don't listen to any other lecture, any other audios. If at all, during the initial study, Shravanam phase, you can do what? Bhagavatam, Ramayanam, Mahabharata repeatedly study. That too, Kamala Subramaniam, English text is available. E-book is available also. So it is condensed, original version condensed, or detailed versions are available. Study them, but stick to one Guru. Study Bhagavad Gita completely under one Guru. Then afterwards, in case you go to other lectures anywhere, you will not get confusion, because the Guru will use the same terminology, same approaches, everything. It will reinforce. That's what it is. So systematic is important and consistency is important. And then single Guru, staying with single Guru is very, very important. That's a very important point. Whereas you can go to Upanyasams of Ramayana, Mahabharatam, you can skip a little bit. Whereas when it comes to the Vedantic study, active listening, mind should be 1 hour in the class. That's why our Swamiji calls it as a class. I also call it by a class. It is not a satsanga. Satsanga, some people say, I'm going to satsanga. Satsanga is good, but it is the primary thing is, it is you are a student again. Unless you have become a student again, taking a class, notebook, and then audio listening ready again, taking a notes, then you will not be able to make it. And recap it again, you will not be able to understand the head and tail of it. You will forget the concepts. So one has to do the systematic study, which is extremely important. That's what it is. And again, we say, what is Jnana Yoga? What is Jnana Yoga? Our Swamiji has put a beautiful bookmark which talks about the 5 features of consciousness, and then 5 capsules of Vedanta which we distribute in our classes also. So consciousness is not a part, product or property of the body. Consciousness is an independent entity which pervades and enlivens the body. Consciousness is not limited by the boundaries of the body. Consciousness continues to exist even after the death of the body. The surviving consciousness is not accessible because of the absence of the body medium. This is the 5 features of consciousness. Then you can replace consciousness with existence and then Ananda. All these things you have to study systematically. And after you study, how do you read the same thing again? Instead of saying consciousness is not part, product or property of the body, once you are convinced, removing all the doubts through mananam, in the nididhyasanam, what I will do, instead of consciousness, I will replace it with I. I am not part, product or property of the body. I am an independent entity which pervades the body. So I replace the consciousness with I, where I have completed the Shravanam, I have completed the Mananam, where all kinds of doubts, everything has been cleared. And finally, I do the Nididhyasanam. And initially, it is very difficult to understand. I am not this body-mind complex at all, because we have got this Hankara, body identification for a long time. And Mamakara, this is me and this is mine. We fuel the Hankara, Mamakara right from the birth of the child. So it is very, very difficult that God, I am the consciousness. So we give a very beautiful example. So here is a hand, and what do you see? Hand. What do you see? Hand. What do you see? Nails, fingers, and the kai rehe, all the lines, everything. What else you see? People cannot say initially. Then we say it is light. There is also light. If I remove the hand, light is still there or not? Yes. If I introduce the hair, still light is there. Consciousness is like the light. It pervades everywhere, whether the body hand is there or not. So we do these examples and we say consciousness pervades the body and it is distinct from the body. This is the teaching of the Upanishads, and this is the first stage. And the second stage is what? That consciousness is myself. That consciousness is myself. That is a very important point. It is not that consciousness is somewhere. It is myself that I have to put. It is not only myself. The Deyam conscious, the consciousness is Ekam. It is in everybody. There's one consciousness. It is like a serial bulb, one electricity, and then which is lighting all the thousands of bulbs. Electricity is one. Like this, we say there's one consciousness that is pervading all of them. So the shifting our notion from this body-mind complex to the consciousness itself may take even janmas. It doesn't matter to us. One of the important points we should note down is, once I become a spiritual student and started Karma Yoga, I have already started the spiritual journey. Even if the Jnana Yoga I am not able to understand, or I am still not convinced, or I am not able to remember it, when I transact the world, so I get tensed up again, doesn't matter. And Bhagavan guarantees in the 6th chapter, you will again continue in the next Janma, your human birth is guaranteed. If you are not a spiritual student, you will not be guaranteed of the human birth itself. Upanishad says, Ivam lokam hinataram va vishanti, Mundaka Upanishad says. Whereas when you become a spiritual student, what is the condition? Start with the first step of Karma Yoga. Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. That is where the spiritual journey starts. But you have to go through Jnana Yoga gradually and then come to Shravanam. Mananam means lots of doubts will come. This is the only philosophy or religion you are allowed to ask questions. In other religions, it's all faith-based. You just don't ask any question. Just listen to what it says. You do this, like this. Whereas here we have got, you say you question everything. That is what being is, a very beautiful system where you do this. And it's a very, very important. And then come to Nididhyasanam, where you convert the teaching, whatever you have learned, after removing the doubts, put it in the subconscious mind, muscle memory. Then during the transaction, I will know. I will have to go through the transaction. Somebody will be instigating me, make me angry, or some news will come. I may get upset. What? And then so what? Or Dayananda Saraswati used to say, initially we will have what? Then so what? So we will have a very equanimous attitude. In Karma Yoga itself, equanimous attitude will be there. In Jnana Yoga, after getting Jnana Yoga, it will further get enhanced. Where initially I was leaning on the crutch of Bhagavan. Now I have removed the crutch because Aham Brahmasmi. I am that God. So when it comes to the Jnana Yoga, the crutch is removed. I am leaning on myself, not even Bhagavan, because B and Bhagavan are one and the same, ultimate Advaita. So once you have this, what happens is life is majavo maja. That's what it is. So this is what is called the vision of unity in diversity. So where is these three processes told? That is in the 17th shloka. Tad buddhayas tadatmanaha tannishta tatparayanaha gacchanta punaravrityam jnana nirduta kalmashaha. Tatparayanaha refers to the goal. Tad buddhaya refers to karma yoga. Tadatmanaha refers to mananam. And tannishtaha refers to nididhyasanam. This is what commentators say. And how the jnanam will come? Jnanam will come gradually, like the sunrise. Like so jnanedu tu tadajnanam tesham nashitam atmanah tesham adityavajnanam prakashayati tatparam. Beautiful shloka. It gradually dawns on you because there will be so many doubts along the way. You'll have to keep on listening. In fact, to tell you the truth, my experience with a lot of students which I am seeing, even the first step of the whole spiritual journey you may find it most difficult. What? Ishvara Prasada Buddhi. The acceptance may be difficult. Second step is what? Ishvara Arpana Bhava, where you are supposed to become from Sakama Karmi to Nishkama Karmi. Many people who are studying Gita for years and years still are not able to give up the Sakama Karma, including Prayaschitta Karma. Very, I am seeing it. Bhagavan says in the 7th chapter, they are also Sukridana, good people. And Artha-Arthi Bhaktis. Okay, it doesn't matter. So what I want to tell you is, at least by studying Gita first time, roadmap is clear. Then we may find it difficult to go from one place to another. As we put ourselves and then keep trying, we will definitely succeed. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim. So you should be very clear about it. So we should continue to work on it while being a karma yogi, gradually understand the jnana yoga and then understand the goal very clearly and then attempt it, and slowly you will detach yourself from this body mentally, cognitively. You will have only a feeble ahankara for day-to-day actions. Strong ahankara, mamakara will go away. Or Swamiji call it as a pancha anatma. Ahankara, body, mind, family, possession and position. Pancha anatma. Body, mind refers to the ahankara. Family, possession, position refers to the mamakara. All these things will get diluted gradually. Gradually within quote. Kalenatmani vindati. Aneka janma samsiddha. Bhagavan said earlier. So that's what we need to understand. Then what will happen in terms of palam? Beautifully it is there. You will have a uniform vision for everything. Unity in diversity. Vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavihastini swanichaiva swapakeja pandita samadarshinaha. You will have a uniform vision. This is the ultimate unity in diversity. That means what? All beings are one and the same. That is what is being said. And in the 19th shloka, beautifully it is given the Jivan Mukti, very emphasis, beautifully given only in this shloka, in the entire Gita. Ihaiva tairjida sargaha. You are winning over the death here itself. That means it is called Jivan Mukti, because there is no death at all for me as an Atma. Body will go away anyhow. Even for a Jnani, this body is gone. Whereas me as an Atma, I am najayate mriyate va kadachit. We have seen in the 2nd chapter. So that is a very so for whom yesham samye sthitam, one who is stay put in this, one who is always, who has become a jnana nishta with the nididhyasanam, for him he has already a jivan mukta. So that's what is given there. And then what will be his attitude towards the world? We have already seen in the 20 and in the 2nd chapter, Sthita Prajna. How does he deal with the world? How will we walk? How will he sleep? How will he eat? All those questions we have answered it in the 2nd chapter. Again, Bhagavan brings that Na prakrishyet priyam prapya, na udvijet prapya cha priyam. Sira buddhira asammudaha, brahmavid brahmani sthitaha. One who is endowed, stay put in this, he is not elated by good things or not going down deep in the ditch when bad things come. Because life is a roller coaster, always up and down. So he will be able to wither all kinds of issues. Whether job loss is there or not. Nobody can predict. Even the best of the industry do not know what is going to happen next 10 years, 15 years. Nobody can predict. So everybody is having their own speculation also. Then what will happen to my children? I do not know. Whether the H1B will be there or not. We do not know. We have seen so much of uncertainty is there. And here grandparents are worried of the grandson who is sitting in America. Are you study Bhagavad Gita, yeah? And they will take care of themselves. Nobody can world is always very tentative. World has got three doshas. You know that DAB, Dukkha Mishti Tattvam, Atriptikaratvam, Bandhakatvam. So world is doshas, defective. Do not emotionally put your mind on the world. Put the mind on the Lord. That's what it is. So that's why he says, Bhagya Parseshu Asakta Atma. Bhagya Sparsheshu. You don't go into the external things. Don't be a materialistic person. Have a simple life. A Vedantin, you may have tons of material, tons of property, tons of millions of dollars in the bank account. Give it for charity, keep something for you. Rest of them give it to charity like Warren Buffett. Then what happened? If you more and more you are externally focused, then you will not get peace at all. So this person is understanding very clearly, he is a jnani who has got the understood, who has done the nididhyasanam, vindatyatmani yat sukham. He is getting absolute peace in the mind, continuous peace, happiness. We are all looking for peace, security and happiness. So Brahma Yoga Yuktatma Sukham Akshayam Ashnute. Akshayam. The Sukham is always there. That means what? I am Ananda Swarupam. When my mind is calm, my Ananda Swarupam nature is reflected in the mind. Thereby I am feeling having no problem is the only problem. This is what? This is a feeling. Mind is itself is achetana. But that feeling is because of what? I understood I am not the body mind. I have weakened my ahankara, mamakara, and that's why I am having a nimmadi ungal kayyil. It is all in individual hands. That's what is there. So 13 to 21, Jnana Yoga Phalam. Then in the 22nd, 23rd, he is emphasizing on the 2 points. One is the Vairagyam. He is talking about the Vairagyam. Okay. So, and he is giving a warning also. He is giving a Vairagyam, is emphasized in the 2 shlokas. And he says, as long as you are externally focused, as long as you have got a material craving, you will never make it. Hehi samsparshaja bhogaha dukkha yoneyevate. Often quoted verse 22nd shloka, first line. Adhyanta vanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Intelligent person will not put a bet on the world. World means what? SOP. Situations, objects and people. All the 3 is called world. So intelligent person will never put the bet on the world because world has got the beginning and end, and one will not emotionally put the bet on this. If you put it, you will have a problem. So intelligent person will not do. So what he will do? He will work on the detachment. That's why in the 23rd shloka, which is beautiful again, now he says, Shaknoti haivayasodum praksharira vimokshanat. Kama krodot bhavam vegam sayukta sasuki naraha. You will get a relative peace of mind by winning over kama krodha. Kama and krodha are the 2 sides of the same coin. And kama is what? Binding desires are called kama. I want to have more and more study Bhagavad Gita and more be in the Krishna's thought, more and more do Dhamma Sankirtanam, Parayanam. Perfect. That is a very good desire. This is a good cholesterol like. Here what we are asking for, more and more enjoyment, more and more money in the bank account, and go around the world and see everything and enjoy everything, go to various Michelin 5-star restaurant. So that is a material craving. Even animals also do that. Ahara, Nidra, Bhayam, Maithunam cha Samanyametat Pashubir Naranam. Buddhirhi Desham Adhiko Visesha Buddhya Vihina Pashubis Samanaha. So even animals do that. Procreation is there, sleep is there, enjoyment is there, eating is there. What is the difference? So we should go away from the material and simplify our life. So we have to win over Kama Krodha. How will you win over? Unless you simplify your lifestyle. Or Swamiji calls it as a port reduction, P-O-R-T. Possessions, obligations, relationships, and transactions. Transaction is a function of possessions, obligations, and relationships. Go and study the homework again. So every relationship or every possession will increase the transaction. You will not find a time for Gita study. Many people come and say, I don't nowadays do marketing also. Nowadays, everything is now, our students do the marketing, bring students. So whenever somebody sees me in the market, they say, sir, I'm not able to come to the class. I'll come after retirement. I never asked you to come. Or I'm studying Sanskrit. After finishing Sanskrit, I will come. You don't need a Sanskrit for studying Gita. So many people have got lot of excuses. Why? They still have not got the good punyam to come to the study. That's the only thing. Unfortunate people. We don't need to feel bad about them. Only what we should do? We should study. In the same house, husband is studying, wife is not coming, wife is studying, husband is not coming. Same room, class is happening, other person will be sitting in the room, locking up the door. All these things we say. Acharya says, Advaita Vasana, Purva Janma Vasana has to come. Anyhow, that's what it is. So it is very important we have to win over Kama Krodha. Again, we can connect to the third chapter where Arjuna is asking, Na atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha. Why people are not able to win over the Kama Krodha? Kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhaha maha ashanaha maha papma vidyena miha vairinam. When you study Gita, this is the beauty. Once you get end to end, you are able to be fairly thorough with the topics and sections where what is said. You can go back and forth and study, and then it will be wonderful. And you can sit in the bus stop without any cell phone, nothing, battery is gone. So sit there, take one chapter and do a nididhyasanam like anything. You can take the mind and keep doing it. I do a lot of these reflections when I do my swimming, because where you can't speak to anyone. Even walking, you can speak to someone. You do swimming pool, you've got exercise, it will automatically happening. So that's why what you do, chant one sloka or one chapter, repeatedly do that. Then what will happen? You will be able to do the nididhyasanam. That's what it is. And then in the 24, 25, 26 sloka, he is talking about the Videha Mukti. In the 19th sloka, Heyava Taijita Sargaha Jivan Mukti. And here he is talking about the Videha Mukti. What is Videha Mukti? After this body drops, then we merge into totality. Merging means there is no question of physical transfer or movement. It is like a pot breaking. The space inside the pot merges with the space outside. This is normally described as an example. And the word used is Brahma Nirvanam. All the three shlokas carries the word Brahma Nirvanam. And the three shlokas talks about the features of a jnani, which we have seen earlier. I am not going to repeat all those things. You can go and study. And he talks about the Brahma Nirvanam. Brahma Nirvanam. That means post this thing, it is a Brahma Nirvanam. That is Videga Mukti. And another important point, which I want to highlight here. This Jivan Muktihi and Brahma Videha Muktihi is only from the standpoint of a Ajnani, an initial Gita student. Because Shastra has to market the Vedanta. What it says, you will get Jivan Mukti, you will get Videha Mukti, come and study. That is the initial. So this Jiva Mukti, Videha Mukti is only from the standpoint of Ajnani. That is what it is. One who has got the body-mind identification, for him is the Jivan Mukti, Videha Mukti. From the standpoint of a Jnani, what is it? It is not told here, but I wanted to share with you as a thought for future that I am Nitya Mukta and it doesn't matter to me at all. Sadhyo Muktihi. What? I am already what? The liberation is not an activity. There's no travel. There's no modification. Nothing is there. Liberation is mental shift, cognitive change in the mind. So I have changed in my mind and this whole world is mithya. Brahma Satyam, Jagati Mithya, Aham Brahmaiva Naparaha. This is the ultimate teaching. That is not given here. By the way, here the Jnana Yoga is not fully complete. That also I am telling you. Here only part of the Jnana Yoga is presented in the 5th chapter. So I am just giving you a hint for those who have studied other texts also. So it is Jivan Mukti, Videha Mukti from the standpoint of Ajnanis, from the standpoint of Jnani, The whole world, including this body, mind, is mithya. Mithya means what? It is for useful for transactions. On inquiry, it does not have independent existence. Now, Satyatvam is not there. So, it is Asat. That's what it is. So, that you have to be very clear. So, that is what it is. Then Bhagavan concludes the chapter from 26, 20, from 27, 28, 29, and he is preparing for the next chapter, which is the Dhyana Yoga or Atma Samyama Yoga, meditation, for which he is introducing the topic and giving a little bit of flavor of meditation, not fully, little bit of it, that will be completed in the 6th chapter, beautiful chapter, where it comes to the meditation. And I want to highlight one shloka, the last shloka, which is a very interesting one. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Sugridham Sarvabhutanam Nyatva Mam Shanti Mrichyati. So he explained who is the God, who is the Bhoktaram, who is the Bhokta. Whatever you offer, everything going to Bhagavan only. Yagyatapasam, whatever yajna you do, everything I am consuming. And I am the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. And then Sugridham Sarvabhutanam, who is a well-wisher of all the being. And if you know me, Nyatva Mam Shanti Mrichyati. Here 2 points. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna in many places say, I am the one. In many places, it says it is the absolute Brahman. So you have to understand, contextualize. The Krishna is not the ultimate God. Krishna is the representative of the ultimate Ishvara. Ishvara is equal to Brahman plus Maya. And so Krishna is a representation of the Brahman plus Maya. Ultimately, we have to understand this. So here, Nyatva Mam Shanti Mrichyati. You will get absolute Shanti. Here we have to understand, I would put it a slightly a different spin also to the shloka. You go to the 4th chapter, 9th shloka, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvadah tektva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. That he has said in the 4th chapter. That means what? If you know me fully well, you will have videha mukti. And here if you know me well, you will have a Shanti. And then when you go to the 10th chapter where he says, if you know me well, you will not incur any papa. So, and then you go to the 14th chapter where he says you will be liberated completely. So all these things, what happens is we are knowing ourselves, and we have to know God also. Then we will have the equation, which is a Jiva Ishvara Aikyam is going to happen. So in the second section of the Gita, where you will get the Ishvara Swarupam, and then we will have the Ishvara Anugraha, all those things will come. And then so these 2 shlokas, 4.9 and then 5.29, are the seed where Bhagavan is going to explain Ishvara Swarupam in the second section. That's what I look at it from that angle. So that's how he concludes that particular section. And then with this, the chapter is over. So to conclude, again, to recap, let me conclude what all the topics we have seen. We have seen the 4 topics. First one is Nishtha Dvayam, the 2 lifestyles. One is the Karma Yoga Pradhana, which is the Ashrama Dharma, which is basically a householder lifestyle. Another one is a lifestyle, sannyasi lifestyle. Lifestyle doesn't matter. Second one is Sadhana Dvayam, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, in sequence, predominantly Karma Yoga Pradhana, then Jnana Yoga Pradhana. Then Sadhana Phalam, Karma Yoga Phalam is Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata, Chitta Naishalyam, otherwise called Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, which is pushing us to Jnana Yoga very easily. Jnana Yoga Prapti is Jivan Mukti, Videha Mukti. And then 4th topic is the introduction to meditation. With this, Bhagavan has concluded the Sannyasa Yoga, the 5th chapter, very comprehensive chapter, fantastic chapter, brilliant chapter. Let me thank again the Krishna Gita Forum for giving me an opportunity. By any chance I made any mistake or anything, purely it is mine. Please feedback to me. No problem. I'll try to correct. If anything which you like it, it's all the glories to Sadashiva Samarambha, including our gurus, Swami Chinmayananda, Swami Dayananda, Swami Paramatmananda, Swami Omkarananda. I have not quoted Tirukural here. You go to Tirukural, Swami Omkarananda is the one who gave me a lot of Tirukural insights. My father used to say Tirukural, Bhagavad Gita, 2 eyes. And everybody, including non-Tamil people knowing, can buy the English book and study Tirukural. Tirukural is a must, which goes along with Bhagavad Gita. These 2 are the 2 compasses. We can use it for our life's steering. You don't need any help also. Everything is here. Whatever I said, all this Dvida Nishta, everything is given in the Tirukural Arathapal itself. Many things are covered, whatever is said here. With this, let me conclude the talk again. Thank you very much. Let me conclude it. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Magi Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhyo Shubhamasnityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Krishnarpanamastu Hari Om. Back to Anandji, Srinivasanji. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Raviji. I think the way you have structured the topics and explained each one in detail, it has been very, very helpful for all of us as sadhaks. So thank you so much for it. Before we go on to the question and answer session, I just want to remind all those who have joined us and those who will be viewing the recording online that these online Gita Satsang and Parayans are live streamed and they are recorded and archived on YouTube. So if you go to the Gita Jayanti Singapore YouTube channel, you will be able to see the archived versions of the Gita forums, the last 4 weeks, and as well as this week's. You will also get to watch the satsangs from last year. We also have the recordings from the International Gita Forum, which was held in July. So this year we are going to have yet another Gita International Gita Forum in October when Swami Sarva Priyananda will be here. So more of those details will be forthcoming. Please keep looking at the Gita Jayanti website, and you can also sign up for our WhatsApp community so that you get all of the information about the Gita Jayanti Singapore events. The next big event, which we're going to have, like I had mentioned earlier, during started the online Gita Satsang, is Krishna Manjari. Very close to Krishna Jayanti, we'll be celebrating Gita through performing and visual arts. This will be on the 12th of September at 6 p.m. at PGP Hall. Everyone is welcome. It's a free event with dinner. Our only request is please do scan the QR code and register so that we can take care of the logistics on our end. So with that, let me stop my sharing and we will open up to the floor for questions. So you can either type the questions on chat or please feel free to unmute and voice your question to Raviji.
Absolute silence.
So, Raviji, I would like to thank you for this wonderful lecture. And even we've heard several times from Swami Omkarananda Mahaswamigal that he also used to say, ultimately, sannyasa must come. Jnana yoga must come. Ultimately, you must know what is jnana. You may do bhakti and karma yoga and everything, but ultimately, the jnana has to come. Then only it's possible to get moksha. So that is the ultimate thing. So that doesn't mean that we can still be householder and then attain the renunciation mentally, right? That's what you were also saying. So that is very, I really appreciate that. So the challenge is how to do that in while you are still in household. You know, in the olden days, they used to call Vanaprastha. The people go to the forest and then do the thing. You know, nowadays, there is no such thing here. You still have to remain a householder throughout the entire life. Right.
Okay. I can share my experience and what our Swamiji used to say. So when I started this journey, by God's grace, And thanks to Singapore, when I landed up here, it was resurrected because I was interested in Vedanta in my college days. Then it left out for 20 years. And it again reignited after coming to Singapore, thanks to Gita Forum and then association with Omkarananda Swami, etc. I revived it and gradually started into a classes. Fortunately, my family members cooperated, especially my wife, to do the classes during the weekends. Because I started 1 class, 2 class, and then it went up to 7. Now I do 5 classes. Just after this, I have got 1 more class to go actually. Already morning I had 1 class. And each class is a Nididhyasanam for me. I don't look at the number of people coming to me, but it's more of the Nididhyasanam for me when I repeatedly do it. And so a repeated study through either Shravanam or taking classes. Swamiji always used to say, take 10 people and start sharing whatever you have done it. One doctor was here in Singapore for 3 years. He studied and still studying, coming to my classes. He has started taking 15 minutes on every Sunday in UK. And then he takes one class, one shloka from Gita and started teaching to the people. He said it's a wonderful experience. So that way we get reinforced, point number 1. The second one is lifestyle has to be simplified. So even after retirement, I have got my own priority very clear. Studying, taking classes is primary. All other chanting, puja, everything is secondary. You will not see nowadays me, any of the temple pujas or festivals much on the weekends because I don't have time. Because this itself, Jnana Yajna itself is another Yajna only, puja only. So not at the cost of this, I will come to Rudra Ekadasi Rudram in Sivangoval. If it is on a Friday, I will come. That too if I am available in Singapore. So the priority is study and then priority is focusing on this. So that's the shift one has to make it. If one is really serious about it. This is the second one. The third one, which our Swamiji used to say, so of course, simplifying the lifestyle and having all these things. From Vanaprastha to Sannyasa, how do you make it? He used to say, you do the Vanaprastha in the later part of the retirement when husband and wife are there. After the spouse goes away, make it a sannyasa lifestyle. He used to say it. Be a sannyasi mentally. Because somebody, if you are very old, at least somebody will be feeding you. Totally focus yourself. So the biggest challenge for us, being an extrovert in the corporate life, all busy, then we have to come to an introvert. How do you do this shift gradually? That's the challenge. Many people keep running around after retirement and say, I don't have time. If you want to make a time, you can make it a time. So that is a challenge, for which I will quote an example of my wife's grandfather, who was a lawyer, very successful lawyer, and he became a widower at the age of 55. And he was from Pudukkottai, Srinivasanji knows him. And then he was such an active person. Later part, he was absolutely withdrawn person. Mahajnani. Never opens his mouth. He did not do class or anything, lecture or anything. To himself, he was staying himself. And then he was Yasvatma Radireva Syat Atma Triptascha Manavaha Atmanyevacha Santushtaha Tasya Karyam Na Vidyate. He was always reveling to himself, lived up to 99. Absolutely a sannyasi lifestyle. In front of me, I have seen for 15 years after I got married. So it is possible to become an introvert after being an extrovert person, and the gradual shift has to take place. Once we try, Bhagavan will always help us. That's another thing I believe strongly. And all my experience lead to that. All the family members will cooperate, and then everything will happen in swell. We will not be bothered about the material. All those things will be immaterial for us. It's all their life. Our job is over. We have educated them. There's no more responsibility for me. I'm not worried about it. Of course, we'll pray for that, good things. But I'm not going to be concerned about anything in life. And if somebody says I'm a selfish, so be it. It's okay. My purpose is very clear. This is what I have learned.
Thank you, Raviji.
Also, just furthering what R.S. Raviji said, that even if in a corporate structure, when you got a job to complete, project to be completed, your mind is totally focused on that. At the time when the children come talk to you or when your things, you say no, not now, later on. So that way, if you start training your mind for spiritual journey also, then automatically you will find time to devote and then concentrate on this. And of course, one other thing that we are all non-spiritual thing that is walking us all down today is the social media. So deliberately cut social media, very consciously aware of it, and say like, okay, like young children, they are given only half an hour or 1 hour, so TV watching or anything when they are young. Same way we give ourselves something like that, so that you'll find a lot of time. So idea is to focus. set your priorities and focus, you'll find everything coming into place.
Absolutely. Somehow I don't miss any of the social things at all. I hardly participate, no social media reach or anything. I don't miss any one of them. It happens, the shift happens.
Raviji, you are different. I'm talking about common people.
Yeah, correct. No, what I meant to say is it will gradually, you will evolve into this. Krishna will lead you to this. Once the ruchi comes here, other things it will be, I mean, kani irukka kai or that, all of that. That's what will happen.
We'll look for other questions. Anyone else? If you have a question, please do unmute, ask the question, or you can even drop it on chat.
I think everybody
I want to quote what Swami Sadatmananda ji said in his last International Gita Forum. No question is silly. So please don't be afraid to ask.
Or I have given my number also here. You can reach out later also if you want to. Or anybody wants to collect this bookmark from me, you please come to my house and collect it. Okay, free. I earlier gave it to Anand Chandrasekhar ji to distribute in the Gita Jayanti. I printed a lot of things and gave it quite a few years ago. So you can get it this also from me. Okay.
Okay. I don't think we have any more questions. So maybe we can chant the closing prayers.
No, before that, I like to say something. We like to thank Sri Anand Chandrasekhar ji for coordinating this session, yet another session. He has been beautifully doing it wherever he is from, wherever he is staying now. So we appreciate his dedication for this online sessions, conducting it smoothly. And welcome to Sri Gopi ji as a chanter for this online Gita session. This is the first time he has been requested to join, and I am sure he has done a good job, and he will continue to support us in the future also. And R.S. Raviji, no need to say about his lectures, the way he structures, he talks, he takes out through the thing. And one good thing I think also we have to learn, emulate from him is the time factor. If it is 1 hour, he is 1 hour. If it is 45 minutes, it's 45 minutes. That kind of packaging he does mentally and then delivers it. So that is one other hidden lesson that we have taken it. We can always take it from him. Thank you, Raviji, for your wonderful lecture. And thank you all, the audience, for your continued support. We know that some of you are watching on the YouTube or later on. But one thing I would say that the later on never materializes. So try to join the live sessions as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, GSG. Let us do a quick closing. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Just a reminder before we disperse that the next Gita Parayan, online Gita Parayan and Satsang session is 2 weeks hence on the 29th of August at 10:30 a.m. Swami Satyalokananda will be the speaker and we will be chanting chapter 6 of the Gita. We will see you then. Hari Om. Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna.
All right. Swami Satyalokananda, if somebody is not aware of it, he is from Sri Ramakrishna Mission. Not though relevant for spiritual studies, but still as an interesting background. He is of Japanese origin. He got interested in teachings of Ramakrishna and then started following him and become a monk thereafter, studying and spreading the knowledge of Advaita through Ramakrishna Mission.
We will look forward to Swami Satyalokananda's lecture, 29th of August. Hari Om, everyone. Jai Shri Krishna.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Sarvam Krishna Arpanam.